How you doing? Steve Taylor with Think HR and Insurance Services. Today, we're going to review Vensure HR. We're going to look at their services. You're going to walk out of this video, you're going to know who they best serve, how they transform your business, how they price for their technology, their services, their insurance. Where do you get pricing? So let's dive right in. So, first thing, who is the ideal customer profile for Vensure? So Vensure is a PEO, professional employer organization, but they also have an ASO model. And what I'm finding in working with them is that they actually work in all three areas, which I would say is a founding team, 1 to 10 employees. First few people, maybe you get the insurance and you get all these things because you kind of have to stay in compliance because that new 401k rule came out because you heard through the grapevine you have to offer insurance in some way, shape, or form. Maybe that's why you're working with them. Those founding teams, they can help you out. Or maybe you're a founding team of 1 to 10 people and you know you're about to hire 20, 30, 40, 80 people and you want to get yourself ready to scale. Then this is an awesome opportunity for you to do that. The other side is the startup HR professional. What I mean by that is somebody who's got all the knowledge, skill set. They may even be SHRM certified, SCP or PHR certified. They've been doing this for 25 years, but then guess what happens? You go into the startup world and all of a sudden, everything's falling apart. You're always in execution mode and you thought you would be in strategic planning mode. Well, this instrument, the PEO, especially the way Vensure does it, is specifically designed to help you grow. Why? Because they want to set up your technology platform and give you the talent acquisition, the onboarding tools, the employee experience, the compliance. They want to set you up to grow. So typically this is really good for HR professionals. Or if you have a full-on HR department, and you just mostly want to use the HRIS system, you want to embed your team in there to work with benefit admin, payroll, you could do that. This is a fairly robust system that they have. So what transformation are they mostly focused on? So they mostly focus on the PEO as far as I know. That's how I got introduced to Vensure. But they do also have an element where I've seen them carve out medical. I've seen them carve out the insurances. So it's super helpful. If you're a startup and you're looking to go on to an insurance platform for the first time, this is honestly a pretty simple process. If you are a open market company, meaning that you get your benefits through a broker, insurance broker, and you're not on a PEO right now, or you don't have self-insurance or a level funded type plan, then you may have age banded rates and you're trying to look at maybe figuring out, hey, how do I get those 4-tier rates that I enjoyed? If you're in California, normally you may see age banded all the way up to 100 employees in the small group, right? So if you're an open market company looking to go onto a PEO, this could be a great fit for you. And if you are on a PEO already and you're thinking about transitioning to Vensure, this should be easier really on you and the Vensure team. The implementation team is going to understand exactly what reports you're going to need. They do this day in and day out. Much of the info that you gather in the quoting process is going to be the same exact info that you're going to need to transition onto their services. And look, if you just are tired of PEOs and you want to transfer off, Vensure actually allows you to do an ASO type option. This might be great if your team really likes the HRIS. They love the HR service. They love the risk management help. They love all the compliance around the handbooks, the benefits administration, them taking care of the Section 125 and all those types of things, right? An ASO model might be great for you on Vensure. So how do they price? So you'll typically see two different type of models with the PEO, either a per employee per month fee or a percentage of payroll. With Vensure so far, my experience has been that they do per employee per month. They assign you a flat fee. Some folks may have experienced that they did do percentage of payroll at one time, but it's my understanding that now, at least with the clients I work with, they do per employee per month. They do have a few minimums, and those minimums are always changing. So if you do decide to go through a quoting process, you may want to know what that looks like. Minimums being like if you're under 5 employees, if you're under 10 employees, if you're at 50, 60, 100 people. Generally with a PEO the size of Vensure, you don't necessarily need to worry about that. Cool fun fact is a lot of the folks who did work at TriNet and helped build their ecosystem, they are here at Vensure. There's a few great people on their sales organization that are just phenomenal. Got a chance to meet Phil, who's the head of sales over there last week. He's great. He's doing a lot of good things in the company. He shared a lot of amazing transitions that they're looking at making for their customers, and excited to see what the future holds for them. So, how do they deliver their services? They deliver their services in a few different ways. They've got their technology platform, and on the technology platform, you can either go into the HRIS system, self-service, or you can create APIs and integrations. So if you're doing your accounting and you want to link it up to where the GL interfaces with your QuickBooks, then you can set that process up. If you want to integrate some of the information maybe on commissions and have it flow into their system, then hey, you can talk to the team and see if there's any open APIs or integrations that they can make via CSV file. That's a pretty good service. I like that. Anything in operations where you can streamline data going from one place to another, you avoid mistakes, which is great. So on the employer side, they deliver services. You get a service team, and my understanding is you get one point of contact, and then you also get a payroll representative. I believe you also get somebody to help you out with benefits if you have questions there. They typically have a specialist in different areas. And then on the employee side, they can either call in, they can chat, they can email. So, Vensure does a good job of making sure that your team is well equipped and that you guys are also well equipped. And then as far as like your insurance broker, if you're working directly with them on negotiating your PEO, then they can help you as well. However, the PEO typically takes over most of those responsibilities, and that's typically why a lot of insurance brokers don't generally like to refer over PEOs. But honestly, I think it's great for a lot of reasons because you get straight to the source, and they do a great job of servicing clients. So, that's super important there. You see some of the different things they tout here: payroll administration, employee benefits, risk management, workers' comp, human resources. This is typically what you'll see in most PEOs. One thing I find very great is you absolutely have to do the payroll piece, right? But the benefits piece, you can carve that out if you need to. Workers' comp, you can carve that out if you need to. So if you have a very high mod rate, or you're just getting over a few of those slips, trips, and falls accidents, or some employees abusing the workers' comp program, because it doesn't matter who's at fault, they will make the payments if your employee is missing work. So it's honestly a great service model, and they do service a variety of different folks. So how do you get a quote? So you could go directly to the company. That works. However, if you're looking at multiple PEO vendors, generally you may want to go to a PEO broker. What should they do for you? Your PEO broker would manage the quoting process, negotiate the best terms and pricing, assist in the collection of the RFP documents, which is like employee census, the medical benefits, the workers' comp policies. All that stuff should be in order. And if they're the ones who are housing that stuff for you, then they should honestly have access to it. Why some brokers don't understand PEO is mostly because it is heavily predicated on your payroll function, which that brings me to, it's complicated. There's a lot of payroll tax payments that you have to understand. You have to understand what it means to be in a PEO report state versus a PEO client report state, or just a client report state in general when you're coming on or off a PEO. You want to make sure all your taxes are being remitted on time. You want to make sure you're working with somebody who does understand the timing of the renewals, the process it takes to unwind a PEO if you're coming off of it, or if you're coming on. What do you need to? What can you get rid of? Is that EPLI policy really strong enough for your financial situation? You want to work with your broker on that piece. And in summary, if you want to build a world-class experience with this provider, phenomenal. If you have 50 hours, 6 weeks, and capacity to learn how PEO impacts your team with 90 plus different product offerings, great. But most of you don't, right? So, and that's exactly why I started Think HR and Insurance Services. I seriously want to help you out by offering a 15-minute call on my calendar. You could directly reach out to me via, Steve at thinkinsurance.com. That's think with a Q. Steve at THINQ insurance.com. You can reach out directly there, or you can just book on my calendar directly, either in the link below or on our website in the PEO audit page. On our call, what we want to do is we typically define the outcome of the project. We want to discuss the timelines, the tasks that are involved with evaluating a PEO, And we want to base all that stuff off on your benefit start date. When would you ideally want to work, right? If we're in May, we probably ideally want to start maybe September, 3 months, so you have a little bit of breathing room. We also want to talk about, you know, does it make sense to work together? Should you just shop the PEO on your own, or should you outsource it to a broker? 9 times out of 10, outsourcing it to a broker is just like outsourcing the insurance piece. You'll generally get a better deal. You have a professional that looks over all these different insurance plans. And again, we have licensed insurance agents that will walk you through plan designs, walk you through how it actually works. I don't always say it makes sense to depend on the sales reps alone to pick your different insurance plans, just because they're not necessarily licensed or trained to have those conversations and transact um, the PEO insurance plan. But if you're looking for expert advice, let us know. Happy to help. See if we can be helpful to you and your group. Think HR and Insurance Services. Steve Taylor. I'm out.